even if you don't even know about AEW and you're just like a total WWE person, go to flip to USA, like you're gonna see AEW wrestling. Go to watch NXT. So that's interesting. And yeah, did we put up a poll about which one you're gonna watch?
No, because plenty of people have done that, and
that's why I thought we might have done.
No.
That makes sense of why we would.
No, if I do a poll, I do a poll on something that
this is clearly the
like
biggest news of the week, though, because they launched into something that could, like Zach said, it could turn into the Wednesday Night Wars. Like, this is clearly a counterpunch by WWE putting NXT on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10, 2 live hours. NXT, for those of you that don't know, is a 1-hour show, airs exclusively on the WWE Network, and it is going to be taped in the same place for now.
Which is like a 400-seat building, which is worth, like, mentioning.
No, because here's what I think, and this is just my opinion on it. The vibe might be different because you have more people, but Full Sail kind of makes NXT. That's what I think the crowd kind of gets into matches and kind of makes matches bigger. You know what I'm saying?
But not all the takeovers are at Full Sail, though.
No,
and the takeovers are really
continue doing that is fine. For the moment, 2 hours live every week at Full Sail. They'll be hyped. It's no different than having back-to-back shows. So you're just doing it and you're doing it live. They should be able to do 2 hours, no problem. So the crowd shouldn't be an issue.
Is Vince going to be an issue?
That's why I said RIP, because if they put them up against, or they did it specifically for a wrestling war, and they lose in the ratings, which is a possibility. Like, it's not likely, but it's a possibility.
It is a possibility.
That dude's coming down to fucking Florida and rewriting your script an hour before you're supposed to go live. That's what's going to happen.
For what it's worth, apparently Triple H is still going to be HNIC. That being said, I can't say I disagree with you, Zach, where you say if it starts going south, this can come in at any point.
I mean, it's hard to disagree with it because
we've seen it
happen. Like,
him and Roman are going to be on a private jet together coming to fucking Full Sail.
It should. The product is fine the way it is. You're going to get Ciampa back. They're doing Street Profits.
Name of the show.
Yeah, right. They're doing Street Profits, Undisputed Era, their rematch. They're doing Adam Cole and Jordan Miles. So, I mean, all of this is going to be one big lead up to September 15th. So, as it stands, it looks like things are on their present course with Triple H as head of the show. Now, as long as we stay like that, we should be fine. The competition is what AEW is going to do. That's the curiosity. I'll say it. Both will be TiVo'd. I'll watch AEW, but DVR, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, I'm the higher guy.
Show it his age.
Yeah,
I'm setting my VCR.
Right.
I'm
where's my
betting on my VCR.
Where's my beta? AEW's first, NXT's second. Just because I want to know. I know what NXT's doing. I want to know what AEW's doing.
I think we're going to know what AEW does. I don't think it's going to take very long for us to understand what AEW is doing.
While you're watching The Road to All Out, that's kind of your weekly show.
Hopefully, AEW is getting shit set up so that they'll have 8 weeks in a row of programming. Hopefully, they have stuff all the way set out.
Well, they already announced stuff up to week 5.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. You know, locations of where they're going to go.
They said, tag team titles will be crowned on the 5th show. And then women's championship will be defended on the 3rd show. And the heavyweight championship will be defended on the 1st show.
There's lots of things to worry about with NXT going to USA. The first one being VKM, Vince Kennedy McMahon. The second one being, I don't want them to start diluting the takeovers. Like, right now there's 5 takeovers a year.
Yeah.
And I don't want takeovers to be diluted because takeovers are so special and they really are highlights of the year for guys like us.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll go this far.
Every single one of them. I mean, the last one was the first one that we all kind of agreed, and Zach was the first one to say it, but we all kind of agreed that was the last one that we couldn't say surpassed the one before it. Now, they've had 25 or 26 of these things. That's a hell of a statement.
Yeah.
That is a hell of a statement.
No, but I'll just say it like this.
I just don't want them to get watered down.
I don't think AEW is going to do a monthly pay-per-view. It just doesn't make sense. Just
make it special.
Let's appreciate what the landscape is. We have been begging for competition, and this is direct competition.
I think it's almost
let's just sit back and enjoy it, and let's see what happens.
If Vince lets Paul Levesque actually like run,
then
it's on. Then it's almost a competition between NXT, WWE, and AEW.
That would be cool, especially if they were given autonomy and they could run Raw and SmackDown separately, Bischoff and Heyman. They could do all of that, but that's not happening because apparently Vince is like incredibly busy coming up with terrible team names for the XFL. The fucking Battlehawks guys, did you see this shit?
No. That's the Hawks. That's okay. That's okay. When we win the inaugural XFL title, it ain't gonna matter.
It's B-Hawks, so you gotta go. The Hawks. I'm a big fan. I'm a big Battlehawks fan from way back.
They won it.
They won it.
But Vince is 74 fucking years old. Turned 74 this weekend.
Nah, don't step on my birthdays, man. I got my birthdays coming up.
I'm sorry.
Ruined the surprise. Spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
Yeah, Vince got birthday on August 24th.
But the dude, he's getting older. Last time he was in a war, he was almost 20 years younger. And he was doing the XFL and that,
Okay, well then that's if you do it right and a good leadership starts from the top to down, you delegate it. You brought these guys in, let them do their thing.
You know what's so fucked up though is that we're gonna continue to do our podcast on Thursdays. There's gonna be 2 shows on Wednesdays. There's gonna be a show on Friday, which we're not gonna be able to talk about.
And there's gonna be an extra hour on that show.
Didn't they think about us? Did they not think about us?
No, we're trying to do this. I was going to say clearly not, because otherwise they wouldn't have moved it. They wouldn't have been talking about having an extra hour. They heard you bitch about it.
I know.
Let's not say that we're going to do a third hour on SmackDown just yet. But it's got to at least garner some ratings before you pop a third hour on it, right?
I can just see it happening. It's an hour outside of prime time, so it'll be later than the.
I just think wrestling. I think wrestling on prime time. Fox, one of the major 4 channels, I think that primetime wrestling is probably going to do better than Bones or whatever the fuck else they put out there.
I would think so.
Who's even home?
That's people that watch wrestling. That's why
they put it on Fridays. They're trying to come up with something that's sports-like that would, keep people in or at least have them watching it somewhere else. But real quick, something I haven't seen anybody do. I know we got to move on from the 1 count.
Not yet.
But I would personally, if I'm fantasy booking this, you have NXT coming up, and a lot of these guys are supposedly, there's talks of them getting like main roster contracts, like their NXT guys would be like main roster guys, essentially, as far as money goes. And they already should be.
I think they're still,
But what would be interesting, we got Survivor Series coming up, right? Like, Survivor Series sucks every year because it's a stupid Raw SmackDown thing that nobody cares about.
Survivor Series.
Have NXT actually invade, like a real deal invasion angle, invade both shows, and have those guys go over your stars, and make some new stars. Have them go over.
Really easy.
It's not easy, not hard.
It's like Buddy Murphy going over Daniel Bryan earlier this week, which we'll get to later. But Daniel Bryan has put over Ali, Kofi, and Buddy Murphy all in the last 4 months, and he's still the best heel in the company.
Yeah.
It's like
and those are all guys.
You can put guys over and still make guys look strong.
Now, and I said it the other day when I was watching it coming home from after I got home from work on Tuesday night. Daniel Bryan, God bless you. I mean, I can't think of anybody else on this roster that would A, be willing to do it, and B, being able to survive after it and still garner the heat as soon as you come out.
I bet he insisted on it. God bless. I bet he went to Vince and said, I'm going to put Buddy Murphy over.
And they're like, all right, we'll have Rowan come in right after and beat the shit out of him, so it doesn't matter.
Which is fine, get your heat back, but at least Buddy Murphy had that moment where he went over Daniel Bryan. He's always got that in the back of his pocket.
Yeah.
In the back pocket.
Yeah, I mean, you can carry that, but it was quickly 50-50.
Are you... 2 and 3 count, really, you guys can fast forward through them. I want to stay on this for a little bit longer. If they do NXT for 2 hours, and the NXT roster is stacked, but it's a lot of guys that a lot of people haven't heard of, are you okay, or would you be okay with them doing a wild card rule and having, like Zach said, it would like Roman Reigns coming to Full Sail one night, or lesser than that, having Fandango and Tyler Breeze, guys like, fuck, let Chad Gable and Velveteen Dream do 20 minutes, 20 minutes of a barn burner. I mean, I know that's what we want, but would you be cool with him bringing back like the big guys, like
you mean like
top of the card?
It depends. I feel like a lot of the, almost everybody has come through that NXT system because anymore you don't hardly go to the main roster immediately. I mean, it just doesn't happen. They force you down.
Even Roman Reigns comes to that.
Exactly. Like you're all like, so that they can kind of like get you into that system, into that WWE system too. You got to be like a big major star to skip that. And so everybody's come through, but I mean, revisiting like some classic stuff. I mean, especially if you're at Full Sail, the crowd's gonna be hot. That crowd's probably been there the whole time, and they remember stuff like, we remember like we're gonna talk about later. Nakamura and Sammy, like they're a thing now, but they were one of the best feuds like in NXT. Like whenever I first started getting back into it, like,
one of the best NXT matches of all time.
Yeah, fucking phenomenal. Like have them come back and do that, and that's what really this whole thing. They would probably bring in stars for ratings rather than bring in stars for like epic matches. That doesn't matter.
I think the people that tune into wrestling, a lot of them want to watch stars, and some of them just want to watch wrestling.
That's part of it, but they don't make stars, so they must just want to watch
videos.
Wrestling because there's no stars in WWE right now.
Jason, you cool with that?
On one hand, it kind of goes against what I harp on. I'm going to say Raw and SmackDown now because as far as I'm concerned, NXT going to USA Network is not developmental anymore. It's the third brand.
Right.
One of my biggest things about Raw and SmackDown is that they bring in the mainstream or whatever the case may be. And unfortunately, lately it hasn't worked. But for the NXT case, I think it kind of works. I mean, it makes sense for a Samoa Joe just to do a one-off or Sammy to do a one-off, things like that. For that, it makes sense. So that way, those who haven't watched NXT or don't watch NXT, you can at least identify where it's person A coming from Raw and or SmackDown coming down to Full Sail to have a great match with fill in the blank. So all right. Ultimately, I think it would make sense.
Let me ask you this. Are you cooler with them bringing guys from SmackDown and Raw? Or would you be cooler with them just getting rid of 205 Live and bringing all those guys up? Because, 2 hours of TV to fill every week is a lot more than they're doing.
What I would do,
especially with all the packages they do. Really, when you watch NXT on WWE Network, it's about 3 matches and 3 packages and stuff like that.
What I would do if I was running the show is I would combine NXT and 205 Live and make it one show. So that way you can kind of have it kind of old WCW-esque, if you will. That way you can lead off with 205 Live, get that involved. The crowd would get involved into it. I think that would make easy sense. So that way you can fill 2 hours pretty easily and still have things left over, storylines left over that you can kind of go week to week. I think the biggest problem with 205 Live is their storytelling. It has nothing to do with what they do in ring. It has everything to do with what is being behind.
But there are guys on 205 Live that are equal to or better than the workers on NXT. Grand Metalik.
Okay, but I was getting ready to say, but I think now he's so far gone that
he's not.
They're counting down the days until they're released from WWE.
I saw that on Twitter also, but he can go. Maybe he can go to NXT and make something of himself. They can make something of him. Not that he hasn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was a bigger star before
you walk in the door. Now he's kind of been.
Drew Gulak he's a fun character, and he's a great wrestler, and I love him.
Perfect for
NXT. He went down and fought somebody in NXT not that long ago. He went down and fought Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
And they had a cool match.
What I would do is marry it. That way you have a solid 2 hours of wrestling.
And that'll do it for our, going to our 2 count. JCB, what you got?
I guess we can talk about Seth and Braun becoming the new WWE Raw Tag Team Champions. Bill and I were talking about this on the way over here, and I'm just going to just assume that everybody knows that this has been done. I get it, but I just think this is a scenario where we put it on the OC, Gallows and Anderson, to match it up with AJ so they can be this strong faction, and then just a few weeks later you take it off of them to put it on Seth and Braun, the classic mismatched tag team that now are going to be champions.
Vince loves it.
And
he loves putting mismatched tag teams together as champs.
And that's
if you look at the lineage, there's a lot.
Rock and Sock Connection, Austin and Triple H.
But then
Austin had a bunch of them.
Yeah, but now you got like the Viking Raiders, whatever the hell you want to call them, that just are squashing jobbers week after week. They come out to
They had 2 of my favorite tag team matches of all time within the past 12 months on NXT takeovers.
Yeah,
and
like they are incredible workers.
I guess I don't want to keep harping on Vince negatively, but I'm sorry. It's
his birthday.
Happy birthday, Vince. This is just why WWE drives me up the wall. There is no fucking effort into this tag team division. I get it. The Usos are wilding out. Okay, so you might have to put them on the shelf for a little bit. But that doesn't mean that you got to put the titles on Seth and Braun to start a feud. There shouldn't even be a reason to... the catalyst is the title. That's the feud. Everybody that is a singles wrestler should aspire to be the champion. If you don't, it's... I want to tear his arms off to win this title type shit. Versus, let's put them together so then they'll be the champs for a little bit, maybe win that Clash of Champions. But at some later point, somebody's going to have to turn heel, probably Braun Strowman, on Seth. So now you can have the monster, in this case, the whatever the fuck he is at this point, chasing Seth for the title. It shouldn't even come to this point. The tag team division is so loaded on the Raw side, and we've done nothing with that. But the answer to this is to give the titles to Seth and Braun so you can have a title match down the line. Lazy.
Zach. Yeah, man. Nailed it.
Okay. I guess I'll take the other side. I'll be devil's advocate for this. When you have a boring top of the card with Seth Rollins with nobody to face, and creative is looking to give some kind of jolt into the top of the card, then they're going to have somebody like Braun Strowman, and you might as well have Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins become tag team champions together. I did like the ending of Raw where they were holding up tag team belts together and the Universal title was in between them, and Braun was looking at it. Now listen, this is we always want them to tell long-term storylines. We always want them to not just try to just come up with something the day before the pay-per-view or the day before the Raw. And so right now we have Daniel Bryan and Rowan with Roman Reigns over on SmackDown, and we have Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins on Raw. At least they're doing long-term storylines. It's not my favorite. I would rather the tag team division be stronger also. But the tag team division hasn't been strong for 15 years. Like, what are we holding on to here, guys? Let's just, we might as well take the good as it comes, right?
Super, you want this?
I was just thinking, contrast that with AEW, which is not on yet, but is going to have an amazing tag structure. Built around the Young Bucks. There's a market for tag team wrestling. People like tag team wrestling.
All Out is the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers in a ladder match.
Yeah,
for the AAA belt.
These guys have wrestled how many times this year, and every time it's just better than the last one.
They're going to be their first ladder match. I'll just say this: if you have a problem with the top of the card, then you need to look at the way you're doing things and build the top of the card. It's not like they don't have talent on this roster. That is the most lazy Samoa Joe, Drew McIntyre, just off the top of my head, are in the King of the Ring tournament. They shouldn't be in the King of the Ring tournament. They should be at the top of the card chasing. They should be at the top of the card chasing.
The King of the Ring has always had guys near the top of the card. It's always had guys near the top of the card.
Phil, what did you just get there saying? That the top, it has been basically the
weak storytelling.
Well, no, there's nobody really out there. Brock is MIA, Braun Strowman. Now, after that, I'll wait. Who would be the next person, logically, that you can say that would be a legitimate challenger to Seth Rollins?
Joe.
Okay. Now, there's my point.
But I love Joe.
But that's my point. He shouldn't be wrestling Cesaro for King of the Ring. Cesaro, okay, I'll give you that. Cesaro is pretty much a mid-carder in WWE, so if we want to keep it clean, let's keep it clean. Cesaro's a mid-carder. Joe is not a mid-carder. When he speaks, I'm like, fucking A right. He's getting ready to whoop somebody's ass until he gets in the ring.
Cesaro could be a top of the card guy if he had a man.
Let's just keep it.
His promos are mid-card.
Sami Zayn.
His work in the ring is top of the card.
We're not talking about that, though.
They have neutered Big Dick Tony.
Okay?
Yeah.
Samoa Joe should be easily
just
in that
like my
spot.
brother, but
Drew McIntyre should easily be in this spot. Everybody is always like, oh, the vanilla bitches are taking over. Well, I'm just giving you two guys off the top of my head without even thinking that you can plug in right now at the top of the card, and if you booked it right, you got now three guys that can all be chasing Seth Rollins. And at that point, I'll let you book it any way you want to. But the talent is there.
It's super easy. I mean, like, just look at the way New Japan does it. Somebody pins the champion in a mixed tag, and it's a huge deal, and then they're automatically set up for the next title shot for the next big show. It's not hard. In the WWE, you have the champion pinning someone, and for some reason that sets them up for a title match. Like, that happens all the time.
Yes, New Japan is better.
I'm just talking about logic.
No. I'm just saying
about
yeah, I was going to say, I'm not on the New Japan is better. I'm just saying that it makes sense.
I wish Murray Man was here. I'm glad Lucha Chris ain't though. That guy's Murray Man was here.
And that's all I ever ask.
Because right now at the top of the card on both brands, you have Seth versus Braun, which makes sense if Braun wouldn't have been neutered a long time ago. But Seth versus Braun is that's not the worst.
No.
That's not the worst heavyweight champion. Hold on. Full champion.
Cool, keep it going.
They're booking him strong.
And the Randy Orton thing has not been bad.
But no,
except for the SummerSlam finish. But I like Randy Orton with the revival. I like them calling the FTRKO. I think that sounds cool.
God,
I just wish
factions. That would be so fun.
I mean, Randy Orton with the revival is cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's something you never thought you'd see. It's like, a lot of old school.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Put
Bobby Roode with them.
That they
make it the Four Horsemen, right?
Just give Kofi like a.
Oh, he just passed out. Jason just passed out.
Give Kofi
right?
That would make sense.
Kofi, you talk about top of the card. Kofi has not had a good match since Daniel Bryan though. Like, yeah, he's been champion and they booked him strong. But nobody who fucking cares about this title reign. I'm happy for Kofi, and I think he's a great performer, and I do see him as a top guy. But I have not been interested in any of the feuds since I was interested in that Randy Orton thing because the video packages were good. And the fucking finish just ruined it for me. I don't want to see this again.
I think history will shine brightly on this.
I totally agree.
I think he's been a pretty strong champ.
They booked him strong. It's not been interesting.
All the guys that he's defeated, there has been some sort of story behind
wrestling. Most interesting about talking about it.
They just been slap shit together with Kofi. They built him up to where everybody he's defeated, there's been a reason why they put it together.
Yeah, I think the Kofi reign has been really good.
Yeah.
Like, surprisingly.
Yeah. Trust me, every time he wins, it's just another spoonful of crow in my mouth.
And they'll do it for our 2 counts. All right, the 3 count is the King of the Ring tournament thus far. It hasn't been great, but it hasn't been terrible. Samoa Joe versus Cesaro was pretty all right.
Yeah, that was probably the best match I think so far.
I love watching Cesaro wrestle. I love it when they give Cesaro more than, 2.5 minutes? Which is what they usually give him.
I just wish they wouldn't have paired them together, but I mean, it kind of is what it is.
It was a hard-hitting, fun match, though. The other one was Sami Zayn versus Cedric Alexander, which was way too short. I'd love to see them let those guys rip off 15 minutes. And then,
I guess the right guy went over.
I guess if they were playing on Sami Zayn hooking up with Nakamura the next night, I guess the right guy went over. The other ones were Elias versus KO, which was terrible. Shane came in and did the quick 3 counts on KO, which is continuing that storyline, which I don't know if anybody wants that. But Apollo Crews versus Andrade.
Yeah, that
was
nice.
Awesome.
That was nice. That was
good.
I was surprised that was one, because I was thinking if there was of the 2 matches, the Andrade and Apollo match would be the one that would be more like Sammy and Cedric Alexander. But
they have so many workers on that roster. You talk about Apollo Crews, who never worked. That's the longest match he's worked in probably a year and a half. No joke, on TV. And you talk about a guy like Chad Gable, who hasn't wrestled a match.
Him and Shelton Benjamin, it should be a really good match. I give him the time to play. It should be a really good match.
So let me ask you this: would you rather the King of the Ring tournament take up just one whole week of wrestling, like Raw and SmackDown, or are you liking it that they're doing just a couple matches a week and building up the Clash of the Champions?
I'm fine with what the structure. I think it'd be cooler to make the tournament a little bit bigger, maybe a larger field or a round robin if you're gonna have a smaller field, so that we had more matches and then that played in the storyline. I think that would be super cool. Maybe the focus could be wrestling and not Shane McMahon.
Boy, you so New Japan, it just hurts.
The Shane McMahon stuff sucks.
Obviously, it's just.
You just want to be wrestling.
Once you saw that match, you knew that there was some fuckery that was going to happen in that match.
Also, I'll say this, not to cut you off, but to cut you off. I wish Andrade could win a match without Zelina Vega helping. Why does she have to help him against Apollo Crews? Just let him win clean one time and make him look strong, you know what I mean?
I think that's their way of quote-unquote protecting Apollo Crews. Why do
you gotta protect Apollo Crews?
That was my caveat, but yes, that's just I feel like that's what they do.
There have to be jobbers. If you're gonna make Apollo Crews, who's an incredible athlete, whose finishing move is a standing shooting star. But I mean, if you're gonna make him a jobber, make him a jobber. God, that standing shooting star is impressive.
It's sweet. God bless that dude. Yeah, he's just in the wrong promotion. As it stands, I like the way the bracket is set up. Raw on one side, SmackDown on the other side. Okay, I'm all right with that. WrestleMania 4, blah blah blah. That being said, it's still a work in progress. It's been good. It hasn't been great. It hasn't been shit like I thought it was going to be. It's somewhere in the gray. Let's just see how things go along so far. But so far, it's been good.
It's all right.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it for our 3 counts. JCB, tell us about F&B.
F&B Eatery on the corner of 3453 Southampton and Marquette, part of our independent restaurant, chain of restaurant tours. I shouldn't say chain because that shouldn't be chain and independent restaurant tours. Shouldn't be the same thing. But that's the good part about it. This was his dream to do just this. This is my dream to do wrestling podcast, to talk shit and get paid for it. Slide on down to F&B Eatery. Every day is a new day, so every day will be something new. This weekend will be corned beef and hash. So those like myself that you like a nice little plate of corned beef and hash, don't meet me there. Beat me there. Slide on in to F&B Eatery, 3453 Southampton. Tell them that fan from Ringside sent you. Right here, Rich. We can wait till the boss comes back and we'll have to start recording. Well, I mean, I don't know what the fuck he wants to talk about. I mean, shit, I know what I want to talk about. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. Super J Cup.
Yeah. What's bummer is
yeah, they're
going to watch it.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say they're going to do it on New Japan World. It's just the September, yeah.
Which I know is like only 10 days away, but like still, it's just like
it's
by that time there's like everything moves so fast.
It's almost like you said, everything moves so fast. You can't avoid the spoiler. It's virtually impossible to, not unless you're just in a hole for the next 10 days, which is not going to happen. But was it Royal Quest coming up?
Yeah,
ROH. Yeah, ROH is coming up with Honor for All, dude.
I'm just not as ROH is in a slump, man.
Dude, and I'm the guy. I didn't tell you about that. Bully Ray commented on one of my tweets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just came out of the blue.
What did he say?
Actually, Rich, you can start recording right here. So I put a tweet out the other day on ROH because I watched the ROH weekly shows, and it's basically down to a clip show where they show a clip from the Manhattan Mayhem match, which was like almost a month ago, like a month and a half ago. Then Mass Hysteria was like the next night. So I mean, it's clip matches. It's not like matches that are current into the storyline. So I was watching the most recent episode, which was Monday of this week, another clip episode, and I quoted it basically saying that, I wish that ROH did a better job of just doing week-to-week episodes and just keeping up with the current storylines, because if you just drop in, you think this is what's really happening, and that's not.
Yeah, that's always been a bummer.
Okay, so me and another guy on Twitter were talking about this, and he mentions that Bully Ray apparently has some influence or contributes to the ROH storylines, and that's why this is
the way. That was part of the reason by friend of the show, Chris Scott.
Okay, so
he still owes me a job.
Two. So anyway, nice try. So then all of a sudden we have this conversation.
Just go.
I go away, I come back, and Bully Ray basically, not even basically, he jumps in and says that, how do you put it, that you should stop reading dirt sheets, they're rotting your brain, that ROH still has some of the best in-ring talent in the business. Okay. A, tripped me out because I saw it's Bully Ray. B, didn't talk about the in-ring talent. I'm talking about the week-to-week episode.
With Bully Ray?
No, after the fact, after the fact, I was just kind of like, I thought about it because I was like, I know I'm not going to get any more of a response than just this, but you know me, I can't just let Bully Ray say something and not say something back. So I was like, look, please and thank you. I'm not talking about the in-ring product. The in-ring product is fine. They have talent. I'm talking about if you want mainstream casual fans to drop in on ROH and start picking up, you need to have a show that is current. They have a pay-per-view this weekend, and they're talking about pay-per-view that happened 2 times ago. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's always been the thing. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
their weekly show has never been great, even like whenever they had awesome talent, because it was always like behind like that.
And that's the problem. And the only reason I even brought this up is the fact that, and I hate to even say this, I hope it doesn't happen, but I think ROH is going to be the first casualty of this big Wednesday night AEW versus WWE war, because you can't do stuff like this and expect to keep up with that. That just won't work. TNA doesn't even do that. And TNA/Impact does a way better job.
It's so weird because this podcast has been on for what? Almost 2 years?
Or almost 3 years.
No.
I'm almost been at Sydney Street for 4.
We're on our 120th podcast, and we do them every week.
Okay, so you want
a year.
Okay, motherfucker, so you want to be like that?
All right.
He doesn't have it.
So, but when we started, ROH was still a big deal.
Yeah, because they had the Elite.
Right.
Yeah,
and they had the
Adam Cole.
Club.
Yeah, that was a great thing.
It wasn't that long ago, though.
Cody was coming in. That's when he just left WWE. He came in, made it high. All eyes were on ROH. And now, 2 years later, it's not even close.
I mean, it's a fast-moving business, man.
Having heat with Bully Ray is cool, but I mean, no Joey. We already touched on some of this stuff, but Daniel Bryan versus Buddy Murphy. Daniel Bryan put Buddy Murphy over clean, which is awesome. Buddy Murphy has my favorite finisher in the game, that pump handle, whatever the fuck he does.
Murphy talks. I kind of touched on it. Great to put Buddy Murphy over, and then you took him backstage. He didn't even have a word out of his mouth, and you had him get jumps.
Is it offensive to you to have Nakamura, Sami Zayn, to talk about how Nakamura can't speak English, and then Nakamura just defer everything to Sami Zayn? Is that offensive to you as a viewer?
No, because I've always
as an Asian man.
As the minority in the room. I've always thought that Nakamura needed a man.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, I got that. I'm
two bald motherfuckers in here.
I was wearing hats, but even not noticed.
Yeah, so Nakamura needed a mouthpiece anyway. I mean,
Sami Zayn in every match.
Sami Zayn's not doing anything anyway, so I mean, what the fuck? You basically just made him shit the bed against a fucking Cedric Alexander within 5-10 minutes. I mean, whatever. Yeah, that's fine, I guess.
The Fiend Bray Wyatt came out this week. I can't believe I didn't see it coming when they had Jerry Lawler in the middle of the ring. I can't believe I didn't see it coming that Bray was going to come out and give him the mandible claw. I did like how Jerry Lawler didn't act like a dummy and was like, I've seen this before. I'm walking up the ramp, and then Bray hit him in the back from the ramp. Where are we at with Bray? You guys good with him?
I'm still hot on him, man. Like, I think it's great. He's one of the few things in the promotion that I'm like super excited about, and I'm still digging it.
Are we cool with Sasha Banks and Natty continuing to use Jim the Anvil Neidhart's death as part of their storyline?
Here's the thing: it does not get any heat towards Sasha Banks.
Right.
It just gets grown towards WWE.
That's exactly the point, man. And I know that those women's argument would be, well, Jim the Anvil Neidhart would love to be used as part of an angle in wrestling because he was a wrestling lifer and all that shit. But it doesn't do anything to get actual heat. You know who gets actual heat in WWE? It's fucking Sami Zayn gets actual heat. Like, people hate him. He's so good at making people hate him.
The next King of the Ring, Baron Corbin, gets actual heat.
Baron Corbin gets actual heat. Daniel Bryan gets actual heat. Not a whole lot of people, other than those guys, get actual fucking heat. Maybe Charlotte.
Charlotte gets heat. People hate fucking Charlotte.
But Zach's point was spot on, though. It doesn't give heat to Sasha Banks. It gives heat to WWE because everybody's in on the joke at this point.
It's fine. I mean, I get it. As a person that does not have either parent, if this was someone that said this to me, it's pretty much game on. So it kind of resonates with me. It's a nerve struck. We'll come back around to this at a later point when Natty gets healthy again. But as sports entertainment, I'm okay with it.
All right, what do you think's happening with Rey Mysterio and his kid Dom?
I think they're gonna fucking have Dom turn on him.
Dom's turning on him.
Yeah, that's the only reason. Like, they have, whenever they do that, whenever they like explicitly talk about how close two people are, it's only because they have to say it explicitly because there's no like implied anything. So they're gonna.
So Dom's just gonna turn on his dad because.
Yep. Yeah, and he's gonna declare his real father is Eddie Guerrero. That was too much.
Yeah, but you see the look on my face. No, you went 2 steps far.
But still, like, that's what's gonna happen.
It'd be funnier if he says that was who.
You know what's fucked up is Ray's talking about being washed up, and he fucking works better than faster than like
Ray is not
washed up.
That's obviously.
I thought that promo from Ray was one of the best promos I've ever seen Ray do because Ray is not necessarily known for good promos. I liked that whole segment. Dom's not very polished. Dominic's not very polished. I mean, I don't even know how old he is.
I was going to say for it, the handful of times he's been on screen, I'm willing to give him a pass.
But he's getting ready to work. Like, there's no way they're doing this unless he's getting ready to wrestle a match or something.
Yeah.
I thought that the RKO, I know I already talked about this, but I loved it when Randy Orton made Kofi watch, when he held Kofi's hair back and made Kofi watch the Revival break Xavier Woods' leg. Like, that is really good heel stuff, man. And I also appreciated, this is a really good week for Randy Orton in my mind. No, you always talk so slow. And like, he sped it up this week, and it was like way better. It was like so much better than any Randy Orton we've seen in the last 10 years.
It was a very different
because he's invested in the story.
Yeah, I think so
when
too.
Randy wants to turn it on, he can turn it on. I think that's the biggest knock against Randy is he's boring. He's boring because he knows he can coast by.
Yeah.
And he's done it for years. He's been in a bunch of bad feuds. God forbid he's had Jinder Mahal and Great Khali to work with. Now he's got a good storyline to work with, and he's invested.
Right here.
They put him against every champion. Like, he's against every WWE champion. It's almost like you have a Randy Orton. He's always in the title picture. Then sometimes he wins.
Yeah. I mean, this one's been better than most.
No, it's almost like a rite of passage.
Better than Jinder, better than Bray.
Not better than Bryan, but
no, but I mean that's Daniel Bryan. I mean that's kind of a high bar right there. It's almost not fair.
All right, we got some birthdays this week.
Let me guess. Vince the Canadian Man's on the list?
I have VKM written down here. Yeah, he's 74. Stevie Ray is 61. Paul Ellering is 66. Jimmy Uso is 34. Jay Uso, also 34.
Who's it done?
Same birthday. You know, I talked to a guy the other night and told me that him, his dad, and his grandpa all have the same birthday. That's insane, right?
Okay, now the grandpa is...
The odds of that are insane. Pac / Neville is 33. Apollo Crews is 32. All those motherfuckers have the same birthday. Stevie Ray, Ellering, Uso, Pac, and Crews all have the same birthday of August 22nd. Happy birthday, boys. Vincent K. McMahon is 74. Rocky Johnson, Dwayne's dad, is 75. Grand Metalik, the aforementioned Grand Metalik, is 31. Got a lot of
God damn, man. They just wasted that dude.
Yeah, they can waste him. He can go somewhere else. Ivan Koloff, who I believe his dad is 77.
I believe so as well.
Crash Holly is 48. The aforementioned Great Khali is 47. And Sergeant Slaughter is 71. Hey, everybody, we know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to ours. For Shock City Studios.
Check.
For Rich Harris.
Rich in the house. Check.
For JJ Twigs on Southampton.
Check.
For F&B Eatery on Southampton.
Check.
For Schlafly.
Check.
For Vice.
Check.
For Murray Man.
Check.
For Lucha Chris.
Check.
For Two Beer Zach Pullman. For Jason Cornelius Bell. I am Handra Day O'Connor, and everybody boo the heel!
It's like landing a plane every week.
Before you know it. Okay, so I was gonna have you say I had a cutout right when you were saying that you agreed that if it starts going south, and then you came back. Do you remember, talking about there? So here's this, walking up to it. That's right. So you could basically just say, I agree, I agree that if it starts going south,
Okay, I think I got something for that. I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, go for it.
No, I agree. Vince is known to do that. He's done it on Raw. He's done it on SmackDown. I think the biggest problem with that is he would just have to be flying down and making this script change on an airplane. I mean, I just think if you let Triple H do what they do, it's already going to have a second hour. You got a loaded roster. Just let Triple H work it out. I think the pressure is actually more so on AEW than it is on WWE.
All right. I'll make that work. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rich.
Thanks, dude. I'm gonna tell Rita we're gonna be late. Are you coming over or no?
No, I need you back.
Well, it was supposed to be podcast. Obviously, you're not.
Stop it.
Oh, sure, I understand that shirt is so perfect.
Yeah, it's all Buffalo Trace Distillers.
Oh, gosh.
Did you? Is it cool?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you guys sneak